Hello. Right, before we start, guys, I just want to give you a little update. I'm changing the format of how I do my vinyl first place. I'm still going to keep the intro, show you the record, etc., etc. Probably do the graphic-y bit, the wiki bit that I've sort of like cleverly named it. But what I'm not going to do is a track by track analysis and breakdown of every single track on here and talk about them individually. What I thought I would do instead would be the sound of the record, the pressing quality, whether it's really quiet, really well made pressing, cracks, pops, is there any surface noise, stuff like that. Highlights. I might talk about my favourite tracks and what turned me on about it, but basically I'm going to change it to that. And the sole reason for that is, A, it takes a lot of work, and B, no matter how hard I try, and no matter what I do, I cannot get them 15 minutes or less. My goal would be to make a video of 10 minutes long, because 20 minutes of hearing me waffle on, the wife can't even stand it. I don't even know if I can stand it myself. So I'm going to change the format, guys. I hope you like it. Bear with me. It's going to be new, but that way I can just sit and enjoy the record, point out the highlights, and tell you the quality of the vinyl. That's the idea anyway. So, without any further ado, here's the intro.
Stripey Rambles.
Hello. Welcome back. Right. Hope you're doing well. We've got loads of rain out there today, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to do this video. Now, a couple of videos ago, I mentioned that at the movies we're releasing Tom Waits and Crystal Gayle, the soundtrack to the movie Francis Ford Coppola's film One from the Heart, and it was limited to 2,500 copies. I seem to wait forever for this to turn up. Well, finally it arrived, so I thought I would show you this and possibly give it a play, see how we get on. Right, from the get-go though, I'm going to have a little moan first off. You know the drill, I love a little whinge. But when this turned up, I don't know if you can see it on this camera here, this corner here has been proper little beaten up. It's all creased up. I tried to sort of like flatten it out a bit, but yeah, it's got a little bit of a crease. Drives you bonkers. It's obviously happened in transit. So frustrating. So before I have a little look at it, let's have a little read what it says on the hype sticker now. I need to stop buying this record. I mean, I've got this pressing of music on vinyl, and this is an audiophile vinyl as well. So I've got this. I've got the original CD, as well as the 2004 digipack. So probably this will be my last pressing of One from the Heart. Like I've explained to you many times before with the videos, I'm trying to do it for albums that I'm going to play as opposed to getting multiple copies of the same album. Now I'm very aware I'm going to be ordering Animals, Pink Floyd's the 2018 remix. I need to do that this week, I think. And obviously the end of next month, Revolver. But there are certain artists and bands that are an exception to the rule, I think. And for me, I'm a big Tom Waits fan. I love the guy. So on the hype sticker, it says, at the movies, One from the Heart original soundtrack, featuring Tom Waits and Crystal Gayle. 40th anniversary edition of 2,500 numbered copies on translucent pink coloured vinyl. Nominated for an Academy Award for Original Music Score on 180 gram audiophile vinyl. So, let's have a little look, shall we? Now, these are all individually numbered, like I said, and this number is MOV 1,782. So they've sold a few of them then. Let's have a little look at the record, shall we? Now, it didn't actually come in it's not sealed. It's very similar to the one from the Heart I got before. It has its own resealable. It's got a completely different cover in the sense of the paper they've used. I don't know if I can see it, maybe on this camera here. It's textured. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm so gutted about that corner, really. And I don't know if you can see it there. There's the number. Polyvinyl inner. And look at that. Tell me that isn't a thing of beauty. Look at that, guys. I do like a little bit of coloured vinyl, I've got to admit. But I do wonder if it's going to sound as good as the other pressing, because I've always said, I've never done a video on it actually, but I've always said that this record, my original pressing, I don't think it's an original pressing, but that pressing of it sounds incredible. It really, really does. That is pretty though, I've got to admit. And I'm going to do it again next month. Obviously, it's the 20th anniversary to Alice and Blood Money. So, beautiful. So before I suppose I stick it on the player, we'll do our little wiki bit, shall we? Let's do this. One from the Heart is a soundtrack album to the 1982 romantic musical directed by Francis Ford Coppola. The music was recorded from October 1980 to September 1981 at the Wally Heider studio in Studio 3. The soundtrack is composed by Tom Waits, who has been actively making music since 1971 and influenced many musicians. In 2015, he was ranked number 55 on the Rolling Stones' Greatest Songwriters of All Time, and in 2011, Tom Waits was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They say that I have no hits and I'm difficult to work with, and they say that like it's a bad thing.
While the film was released in February, the soundtrack album's release was delayed until October of 1982 due to a dispute between Columbia Records and Coppola's Zoetrope Studios. And it was during this time Waits met his wife Kathleen Brennan, an employee at the studio where the soundtrack was recorded. The album was the last in an almost decade-long collaboration between Waits and producer Bones Howe. Howe recounts how Waits broke the news to him.
When we were done with the One from the Heart recording, and Tom called me up and said, let's meet at Martoni's and have a glass of wine. So we met at Martoni's and sat down, and Tom said to me, I think I need to find another person to produce my next record. And I said, well, I've never had an exclusive hold on you, Tom. He said, well, the problem that I'm having is that I start writing and I start thinking, I think like you now. And I write a song and I go, I don't know if Bones is going to like this tune. And he said, I'm fine. I'm trying to write for you. I said, I cannot think of a better reason for two people to not work together anymore. Certainly an artist should not work with somebody that they feel like they have to satisfy as a producer. And that's we had another glass of wine and we shook hands and that was the end of it.
Bones later quoted, "It was a great ride." For the soundtrack to One from the Heart, he teams up with singer Crystal Gayle, who performed either solo or in duets with Waits. The album was later nominated for an Academy Award for Original Music Score. In 2004, the soundtrack had a remastered, reissue enhanced digipack release with two previously unreleased bonus tracks. Candy Apple Red, and Once Upon a Time, Empty Pockets. The Austin Chronicle wrote, "Of course, Waits fans may chaff at the crystal clarity of the country music siren's ringing cry. But like the last and best duet on the soundtrack explains, this one's from the heart." Okay, should we get on the turntable? Come on then. This record sounds incredible. It really, really does. I'm so chuffed with it. Still gutted about the corner. The quality of the record is amazing. Now, to be honest with you, I can't really tell a difference between this pressing, sound-wise, and the music on vinyl record that I already owned. So I guess the props are the cover, even though mine's dented, and the pink vinyl, and the fact that it's limited edition. Like I said, 1,782 I am. So there ain't that many left. But the record sounds amazing. Now, before I get started, just so you know, right, you might have noticed that my voice sounds a little bit different on this video. Adobe have brought out a new bit of software that's available online. It's called Project Sashta or something. And I was toying with it to see if it would improve the dialogue to my video. So that's what you can hear if I sound a little bit bassy or a bit like a radio DJ. But it sounds quite nice, I thought, so that's why I sound different. Right, anyway, one from the heart. What can I say? The musicians on this are tip-top. It really is. If you like soundtracks, this is a must-own. And I do think any serious Tom Waits fans will have this anyway. Now, regarding Crystal Gayle, I don't really know a lot about Crystal Gayle. I know her from this album, and obviously Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue and etc. from the old days. So, but I don't really know a lot. But her voice contrasts beautifully with Tom Waits's on this particular record. There's a few duets on here that they do, and I mean, Tom Waits and duets. I think he did one. Oh, he did one with Bette Midler. I Never Talk to Strangers on Foreign Affairs. And that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But her voice against Tom Waits's on here, it just works so well. It really, really does. So the musicians on here are superb. Greg Cohen on the bass. The orchestra was arranged and conducted by Bob Alkeval. Well, I can't pronounce his name very well. But it really does sound amazing. Right at the beginning, there's a penny drop or a nickel or whatever it is, and you can hear it spinning, and then it literally sounded so clear. It's almost in front of you. These records, these audiophile pressings, really do make the kit that you've got, and I haven't got a high level stereo, but it's pretty decent. It really does make it come to life. The speakers have never sounded so good. When the orchestra kicks in with the music, it does envelope you. It just gives you goosebumps. It's beautiful. On the tenor sax on here, which throughout sounded beautiful, was Teddy Edwards. And I do believe Teddy Edwards, it was early 90s, I think. He had an album out called Mississippi Lad, which I had on CD. I misplaced it. And it's got 2 Tom Waits tracks on there. I'm Not Your Fool Anymore and Little Man gets here. But there's some beautiful duets on here. And Tom does reach back to his old Asylum years. You know, the Electro records. You can definitely hear a bit of that. But also on the instrumental montage, the Tango and Circus Girl, you can hear where he's going. You can hear a little bit of Swordfish trombone, Rain Dogs, Frank's Wild Years, etc. For me, the highlight songs are Broken Bicycles, which had Peter Jolly on the piano and Greg Cohen on the bass and Tom Waits singing. Oh, it is haunting, but in the most... It's beautiful. It's absolutely perfect. You Can't Unring a Bell was very nice. I mean, I like every song on here. I really do. It's an album you can put on whatever mood you're in, whether you're going to sit down and eat a bit of dinner or you want to ignore the world and just drift away into this record. It sounds amazing. The vinyl was absolutely quiet, but I said that about my other pressing. So the bonuses are it's limited edition, the coloured vinyl and the cover if it comes through unscathed. So yeah, a beautiful, beautiful record. I am really, really pleased to get it. Highly recommended. Now there's only obviously a few left. Few hundred mind, but there's only a few hundred left. I do think it'll eventually be worth something. It sounds great and I'm really, really chuffed to own it. So that's it now, guys. That's it for this. So this album, for me, gets a 10 out of 10, which is very high rating, but I'm going to rate the albums and sound quality, pressing. You can't go wrong. It really is a must. Yeah, pleased I got it. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the videos. If you like this sort of thing, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of the new format. I just want to get my videos shorter because the thought of sitting and listening to me for best part of half hour must drive you all nuts. Right, have a fantastic weekend, guys. I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Take care, people.